Alright, this is Seema and I'm back with another lesson on conversational etiquettes, or the mannerisms that you exhibit when you are conversing with your business colleagues, with your own colleagues at work, or maybe just at home. Well, a lot of times when we are talking with people, our opinions may not match. In fact, a lot of times we strongly disagree with a lot of other people's opinions. Well, it is important to disagree sometimes, but we have to make sure that we are not disagreeable while we disagree. Well, we need to know what to do when we have a difference in opinion. How do we show that we are not happy or we disagree with somebody else's opinion? We need to be sure that we do it in a way that the person who we are disagreeing with does not feel offended. These are some common expressions which we use in a business setting. Okay, well, sometimes maybe when you are a part of a marketing campaign and you're kind of trying to find out a particular area where you target your customers, somebody else may think that it would be intelligent to target maybe customers between the age group of 7 to 13, but you don't really think so. How do you put across your point? How do you disagree without being disagreeable? I could say something like, I'm afraid I have to disagree with you. So I don't just get up and say, look, you're wrong, we can't do it. That's kind of rude. I mean, I would be hurting somebody else's feelings and I would show disrespect for somebody else. But I could say, I understand your point, but I believe that maybe this age group is not very suitable for our product. Or maybe I could say, I see what you're saying, but in my opinion, this age group will draw a higher demand for our product. Does that sound rude? No, it doesn't. It sounds more polite, and yet I am disagreeing, but in my opinion, I am making sure that the person who I am disagreeing with is also respected and her opinion is also important in my eyes. All right. Now, when I am interrupted, tell me, who of you likes to be interrupted? I certainly don't. A lot of times when I'm giving a presentation, I have some people just raise their hands and, just interrupt me. And I think that's kind of rude because interrupting someone is rude. But when I am interrupted, what can I do? I need to make sure that I put across my point in a way that shows that I understand what that person is saying, but I need to finish my point first. So I've got to be polite, but I need to be firm at the same time. How do I do that? I could say something like, well, let me finish my point, and I will give you the opportunity to say what you want to say. So which means I need to make that person very clear that I need to finish what I'm saying, and then he or she will be given an opportunity to speak what he or she wants to. Or I could say, so as I was saying, and then I can continue with my own thought process and then ask that person to voice his opinion. Well, now the tables are turned. What do I do when I am the one who is being rude? When I am the one who is interrupting? Well, as I said before, interrupting somebody is not a very polite thing. So when I'm interrupting, I need to be very careful that I firstly apologize. I need to say I'm sorry. So an apology when interrupting is in order. So I need to say something like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you please have a look at this? Or I could say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you know what I think? I think that we should do this. And that's how you kind of say things when you are the one who is interrupting. But please note that you do not interrupt a conversation unless it is absolutely necessary to do so. All right? Well, we will now go through some more conversational etiquettes, some more expressions we use when we are having conversations in difficult situations. Well, let's have a look at what we can do when we don't understand something? Well, a lot of people, including myself at times, we're not very articulate. We're not in the position to express ourselves very clearly on some occasions, of course. In that case, if I don't understand someone, what do? Do I just go up to that person and say, hey, look, can you repeat yourself? No, I wouldn't do that. In fact, I would say something like, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean. Could you repeat yourself maybe? I remember I had this professor when I went to college who used to speak very fast, and I couldn't barely understand a word of what he was saying. And I had to understand that because I needed to learn from him. So a lot of times we would say something like, I don't get your point. Are you saying that maybe things should be done this way, or things should work out, in another way maybe? So a lot of times when we don't understand what somebody is saying, we need not be rude, but we need to show them that we haven't understood, and we need to be polite in doing that. Moving on to the next scenario, when someone's opinion shocks us. Well, when I was a new employee, I was quite temperamental. I would get angry at a lot of things. And during my appraisal, my supervisor once told me that I was a very short-tempered person. Well, naturally, that came as a shock to me. Now, if I was, rude, I could say something like, are you crazy? What do you mean I'm short-tempered? Well, I couldn't say that. So when someone kind of shocks you with their opinion of yourself or about anything else, you can say something like, is that what you really think? Or I'm really surprised, or I'm really shocked, or I'm really sorry you feel that way. Okay, so do not overreact when someone attacks you personally or attacks what you've done, but you can express your surprise using these kind of verbiages. Moving on to a situation wherein you've kind of talked it all over, you've kind of had the conversation. At the end, you've still not agreed and come to a mutual agreement on things, and that happens, and that's okay sometimes. But we need to end our conversation in a very nice way, in a way that we can still speak, be friends in the future. So maybe I have disagreed with my colleague at work, but I can say something like, I guess we just see things differently. You have your opinion, I have mine. Well, we can't do anything much about that, but we're still friends. I still respect you, you respect me, that's fine. Or I could say something like, I see you and I have very different points of view, which means that her point of view may have been something and mine may have been something different, but we still respect each other. And even while we disagree, we're still going to be business partners, we're still going to be business associates, we're still going to be friends. So that's it from this lesson on conversational etiquettes. I'm sure this is very useful for all of you because you kind of, come in situations like these all the time. So when you face yourself in these situations, remember that be polite, do not be rude, and be very businesslike when you handle all these situations. Until then, this is me saying